Hey everybody, it's Bob Nagin, and in this episode of Real Retail TV, we're going to explore how to not make a huge mistake with your social media marketing. So it's a beautiful winter day here in West Michigan. Thought I'd get out, walk Tucker, and talk to you about a huge mistake that a lot of people make with their social media marketing. And what I'm talking about here is not proactively taking the time, the energy, the money that you put into creating followers, building community on social media, particularly Facebook and Instagram, and turning those relationships, those social media relationships, and turning them into real contact information. So think of it this way. Somebody who follows you on Facebook or Instagram, we could add TikTok and Twitter, we could add all of those. But when somebody follows you, I would encourage you to think of that as a rented relationship. By that I mean, yes, you have a relationship, but it isn't tight. A romantic metaphor would be you see somebody across the room, or maybe you meet them and there's interest, but if you don't get a phone number, if you don't get the contact information, all you can do is hope that you see that person again. And when you build a community or you build a following on social media, all you can do is hope that Facebook or Instagram or whatever the platform is will serve up your posts. And that's not a very good place to be in. Back in the day when we first started Whiz Bang Retail Training, back when we were Specialty Retail Solutions, my most popular program was called Mining Diamonds in Your Own Backyard. And the program was all about building relationships. And I always told the story of how I met Susan. We met at a bar, an old girlfriend introduced us. Of course, I had a whole bit around it. But then the point was, if you don't get their contact information, if I hadn't asked Susan for her phone number, if I hadn't invited her to a dinner party that I was having that weekend, all I would be able to do is hope that I ran into her, around town sometime. And hope is not a marketing strategy. So what I'm encouraging you to recognize is that social media has its place. Social media is a wonderful thing, but at the end of the day, it's free. And Mark Zuckerberg and all of the rest of them have to make their money, and they're good at it. Facebook made $24.5 billion in profit in 2020, and they're making it off of relationships that they own. And I don't need to tell you that how frustrating it is to build a community, to build a following, and then finding that you have to spend more and more to communicate with the communities that you've spent all this time building. So, what's the secret? The mistake is not getting contact information. The solution is to get their contact information. So, any relationship that you have on social media is a rented relationship. You don't own it, but your challenge and your opportunity is to own that relationship. So to take the relationships that you are building on social media and turn them into your relationships. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you get their email address, you get their text number, you get their physical address, you get as much contact information as you can get, but at a minimum, an email address. So how do you do that? There's several ways that you do that. One is you get them off of that platform and give them an opportunity to sign up. You have contests, you have giveaways, free gifts, sometimes they're called bribes, are a great way to get people to give you their contact information. So you, let's just say you're a quilt store. You give away a free pattern. And so you say, go to our website to get your free pattern. Well, when they get to your website, in order to get the free pattern, they have to give you their email address. Why do they have to give you their email address? Because you're going to email it to them. If you're building groups, for instance, we have a bunch of groups, but I'm thinking particularly about whiz-bang retailers. If you want to join whiz-bang retailers, and I would encourage you to join whiz-bang retailers, it's absolutely free and it has a ton of value. But in the questions that that we look at, the sort of the membership questions, one of them, are you getting our tip of the week? And would you like to? So they have to give us their email address. So we are being, and I'm encouraging you to be very, very proactive about taking all of your social media following and turning it into owned relationships. Rented relationships, following on social media is good, but owning that relationship, being able to proactively build that relationship because you own it, is way, way better. So if you have any clever ways that you're turning those rented relationships into owned relationships, put it down in the comments below. We would love to hear about them. And, if you disagree with me, that's okay too. You can let me know about that. But anyway, I'm going to get back to my dog. I'm Bob Nagin. Thanks for being here on Real Retail TV, and we'll see you next week.